Thank you for joining me. I am in sunny Northumberland. It's 26, 27 degrees here. Well, it was in the car anyway. 26, 27, it's boiling. And I can smell the seaweed here coming off the... This is tidal, so you have... This is the River Allen. Now, it's not Allen as in the male name, it's A-L-N. And you have the estuary here, so it's tidal, and you can see that because of that, you've got the seaweed here. And there's the beautiful old bridge there. It's been repaired many times, though. There's a cheeky local bus going over just for scale, which is nice, so you can see how big that is. So that's one of the main ways in. And then over here, you have the quite small, but very, very beautiful... sorry if there's any comments on the screen here, but it's hard to read. But very, very beautiful coastal town of Alnmouth. Gets the name from, you've obviously got the River Allen, and it's at the mouth of the River Allen, and that's how it gets the name. But look at this, stunning. Such a strong smell of seaweed here. So we'll walk along here. Now there's houses to the left here, and then there's the waterways. And then over there you have it's kind of marshy, so you get a lot of seabirds over there and marsh dwellers. So stunning if you're into birds. They don't call it bird watching now, they call it bird fanciers or twitchers or whatever the hell it's called now. I think bird watching got a bad name. People thought people were hiding in bushes with binoculars looking at people, you know, changing into swimming costumes or something. That's beautiful, that bridge. Proper sandstone. Almost reminds us of a lot of the stuff in Edinburgh. Massive loads of sandstone there. There's someone shouting there. Someone's shouting on the bridge because you're supposed to give way on that bridge. We'll walk along here because I don't want to block the way for people. So I'll cover some of the little bits of history and what have you, and if there's anyone in the chat, just let me know where you're from and I'll say hi and I'll pass on any sort of information, or if you have any questions of the local area. Some lovely flowers here, look. Ah, Alan, hello mate. Oh, you're in the valley. Alan's always away on nice holidays, all the time. Nice to see you, mate. How you doing? And there's some honeysuckle. I can actually smell that. Very sticky, this stuff. But yeah, that's honeysuckle there. Beautiful. It's come way out. Nice sun trap here though, so it will. And then you have, they look like raspberries. And then more honeysuckle, and then you have hawthorn here, which you can eat later on in the year. You can eat the berries, but you need to spit the pips out because they're not particularly nice. And there's a load of foxgloves behind there. Alan, can you just let me know what the signal's like? It should be okay, but I do these recce's, and it says that yes, it'll be fantastic signal, and it's always a lie. That's a nice seat up there, look. Imagine sitting there and relaxing. Beautiful. Don't know if I can get through. I wouldn't mind going and sitting there, but I think that's actually someone's garden. So their back garden looks onto this. Isn't that wonderful? Can't see any fish. There will be some down there, though. There'll be little minnows in there. Hopefully the sound's okay because I'm using an external mic as well. I really mustn't try and spend the whole of the stream going on about signals and resolutions, and you know, it could be a bit tedious for people. Yeah, that is someone's garden. That's interesting. Now over this fence, you can see most of the main body of the town. Alan, can you just send me a full stop? Because unfortunately, I get about 6 seconds to read the messages. Some nice houses there. Look at that one on the left. Beautiful. Now that's a modern one, and then as we go along, that is the North Sea over there, and then you have the main body of the town there. So I'll cover some of the history and what's going on. But they have the beautiful sort of, if you've ever been to Tobermory, where you get those pastel hues on the houses, and you'll be able to see a few from here. I've actually been over there before. I've never strolled around Alnmouth proper. So there you go. So very old-fashioned houses there. Believe it or not, Alnmouth, I think the last census, I think there's a couple of censuses I looked up, and one of them had the total population of something like 562, but then that dropped over like a 10-year period, which is a shame, but obviously you get people coming here for the holidays and things like that. So you're looking at, say, like 500 or just under the 500 mark, so not a lot of people live in this actual area. So it's nice and quiet and you haven't got a load of troublemakers and things like that. And there's a little border collie. Hello, hello there. Hello. So that's a little border collie. We use those here for sheep herding, basically. I know in other countries you have different dogs. You'll have like the German Shepherd, and the Aussies have a totally different type. If Aussie comes on, he might be able to tell me what the breed is. It's not like a dingo, but it's definitely crossed with something. It may be a collie like crossed with something. Nice seat here. I'll come down to the water so we can have a look. And you can see here, this is where the water has come up to at its highest level. So that's way up, but then obviously what's happened is that's been like a storm surge and it's come way up and it's left all the wood there. So if you're ever after any wood, that's one of the places to get it, although a lot of it's going to still be damp. Oh, listen to that crunch. So there's a lot of interesting, there's a member of the pea family there, I think, if I'm right. There's a lot of interesting plants here, actually. Lovely. So that's where I've come from. I came from there. You would drive in here, and then you have the mainland over to the right there. But stunning, and you can hear like a little, I think that's a chiff-chaff in the background, that bird which is making that tweet, 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 tweet noise. Hopefully the microphone can pick that up. And you might be able to see it. I'll try and get as close as I can. You see that green stuff that's poking up? Not that stuff, that's seaweed. I'm not talking about that, but see the fresh green stuff which is pointing and coming up out of this mud. That there, if I'm not mistaken, is samphire. Now samphire, if you go to a posh restaurant, that's one of the greens that they'll serve. You really need the fresh young stuff, otherwise it can be a bit woody, like if you try and use too much of asparagus, you get that woodiness. But it's a beautiful stuff and it's very nutritious actually. So if you can get samphire, a lot of people haven't actually had it because it's more of a coastal thing, and then probably in other countries they may not have it at all. But stunning here. We'll walk along a bit now. So what will happen is the Alnmouth proper is on the left as we'll go down here. But I'll see if I can spot anything. Now what plant is that? Very interesting flowers, look. Beautiful. It's got like these elliptoid leaves. They're quite interesting and they're quite, they're almost like a succulent, but they're not. If anyone knows what that is, I'll have a little sniff. Sometimes if you have a sniff, gives you a little bit more information. No, I'm not sure what that is. The reason I went over to it was because that's a shape of leaf I associate with ground nuts or the humble peanut. You won't get them here. That's more of you'll find that in Asia and places like that. And over here, sorry to harp on about all the plant life here, but you have the hogweed, not the giant type, so hogweed. This one won't hurt you. And you see those beautiful roses? That is dogwood, or it's a set of dogwood. So you just get them randomly in the wild here, beautiful. And then I can see cleavers and other grasses over there. And it's boiling here, 27 degrees. So getting into the breeze is actually quite nice. Okay, we'll continue along here. So lovely and covered here. And as you can hear, listen, reason for that crunch is this is what we would call in the local area anyway, we'd call that like a cinder path. So you get that lovely noise. I quite like running along paths like this. And there in the distance are some of the traditional houses you can see. They're beautiful. You hear that little lilting call of a bird there? Not that one, not the tweet, 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 but the lilting one. That was a member of the tit family. And I'm not swearing there, that's an actual type of bird. And this area is thick with cleavers, look. Now these are the ones that stick to your clothes, watch. Well, I can't really do it. There. If I do this and turn the camera around, There, right, look. See that? Sticks. So it's like the original Velcro, look. Well, technically the original Velcro was burdock, but look, or that sort of thing. Sticks, and you can actually hear it. It's got tiny little hairs on it, brilliant. And the little seeds used to be called soldiers' buttons because they would stick as well. I'll just alter this, you don't have to look at my ugly mush. There you go. Something beautiful to look at instead. Now through here, I'm not going to go this way, is the marsh, so that's like the flats marsh. And you can walk on that, but then as you head out, it's going to become more muddy. But there'll be loads of marsh dwelling birds on there. And then you can see a lot of there's actually a sailing club over there on the left. So Alan's saying, I remember a Catherine Cookson TV show called The Cinder Path from 1994. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Catherine Zeta-Jones used to be quite the hottie, wasn't she? And then she went off with, was it Michael Douglas? But he whenever I see Michael Douglas, he never looks that fit and healthy these days. But that's probably where the Cinder Paths come from, because Catherine Cookson, although she isn't Northumberland, she's slightly to the south, so County Durham. So County Durham butts onto Newcastle upon Tyne, and then you've got the expanse of Northumberland, which reaches up to the Scottish borders. But Catherine Cookson the only problem I ever had with Catherine Cookson stuff was they were all a bit miserable. It was all poor people fighting and scrapping and shouting at each other. What a lovely seat that is, look. So if I sit down on this seat, that's the view you get. And listen, no traffic, bird song, and that's it. Beautiful. Blue skies. Right, we'll travel along. So I'm going to travel along that path and then along, and then we'll hook in. There's actually a little museum down there, I'll show you. And you might see it in the distance. You see that mound? That's called Church Hill. Now, it's on the other side of the estuary, so you can get to it, but you need to use a different route. And there's a little cross on the top of there. Now, that's linked to a local saint. Well, for Northumberland, the saint of Northumberland. So, Saint Cuthbert. So you may have heard of him. I did do a video actually. If you go to my playlist for Northumberland and look up St. Cuthbert's Cave, if I remember rightly, they hid his remains there because along this coast we had Viking raids at one time, and I think it was 562 AD. It was his sort of era, or 662, something like that. It was about 1500 years ago when he was knocking about in Northumberland. And the Vikings used to come and liberate all the Holy Island and other places like that in Lindisfarne, liberate them from their gold and jewels to look after it back in Scandinavia. So he and other people used to tend to come inland to get away from all that. Right, enough waffling, let's get on. Now this here, no it's not. I thought that might have been a slow bush. Now you can get a fruit off that, but that's not the same type. No, different. Right, let's get through here. There's a little buttercup, very famous here. We get a lot of them in fields. When we were kids, we used to say, put that under your chin and let it reflect the sun. And if you get a big reflection, it meant you like butter. And there's the long, thin-leafed plantain there. And I'm not sure if that is, no, it's not strawberries. I think that might be raspberries. And there's ribwort. See that one there? Ribwort. It doesn't look like this all the time. It looks like this because that's the seeds have fallen off there. If you just bear with me, just need to get rid of a fly there. Anyway, I shouldn't be waffling on about plants here. I'm trying to show people nice views. It's not a botany course, and I'm not an expert. So let's walk along the cinder path, as Alan said. So I didn't know Catherine Zeta-Jones had been in a Catherine Cookson. That's strange because Catherine Cookson is associated with the northeast of England. And Catherine Zeta-Jones is Welsh, I think, if I remember rightly. Not that there's anything wrong with an actor from a different area playing a Geordie. Although technically, because she was from the south of the Tyne, you would probably refer to her as a Mackem. Someone's been walking through there, look. Either that or Bigfoot. And then another interesting plant, I think that is a wood avon or wood avis, I forget what they're called now. They've got this interesting, it's almost like a burdock, but it isn't, it's softer. Beautiful, beautiful plant. You always find them in, well, in woodland, as the name suggests. I'll shut up for a bit so people can relax and listen to the sounds of nature. Alan's saying she's from Swansea. Yes, Swansea. I know Swansea because that's the home of the DVLA, which is the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority or something like that. But yeah, she's Welsh. I don't know if I have any Welsh. I think I do. I think I've got a few Welsh subscribers to the channel. But it pales in comparison to like the UK and America. I get millions of subscribers from America. I'm extremely lucky, the breadth of... Now there's more samphire out there. So technically you could pick some of that and cook it. But again, I've said this in all my videos and I always do. Don't take my advice on what you should and shouldn't be eating wild edibles. I could be a complete idiot. So just bear that in mind. Always use multiple sources if it's going to go in your mouth. That's a nice field, isn't it? Really strong smell of the sea here. I mean, look at how interesting that is. You've got elder wood and a hawthorn there, and then you've got what look like Scots pines, you know, billowing up there. And then you have another type of tree that I'm not sure because I'm too far away to see the leaves. And then you've got those beautiful houses on a wild meadow that's just been left. Looks very lush. Now this has turned from a cinder path to more like a coastal path now, so there's no crunch. Oh no, as soon as I say that, listen, the crunch is back. It's like walking on, I was going to say Cocoa Pops, but Rice Krispies, Cocoa Pops, not everyone gets them abroad. I should do what all these streamers do and say, put in the comments what your favourite breakfast is. I used to like Wheatos. Let's have a look at these boats. Look at that. Isn't it interesting how the water has created these channels where it drains in and back again from the tide? And that's just all mud there. So if I was to jump down there, I'd probably sink. It's not like, you know, sinking sand where you end up dead, but like on an Indiana Jones video or something. Now I can just see the top of the old church. There it is. So right in the middle of the screen there is the spire of the church. I'll actually walk up that way eventually just so you can have a nice look, because there's loads of history here, loads. I mean, they used to sell grain and wood and all sorts of stuff. Electro Buzz, hello mate, how are you doing? Electro, if you've just joined us, I am in Alnmouth, so we're in Northumberland near the coast. We've been discussing Catherine Cookson, Catherine Zeta-Jones and different plants. And I was just about to say that spire in the middle is from the old church there. And I'll probably, as we'll work our way around, I'll tell you, an American shot that with a cannon. Did you know that? Not a lot of people know that, even locals. If people really want to know, I'll give them the story. It's going way back to the War of Independence. And then that's pretty deep now, that mud. There's loads of boats out there. Now, most of them are quite small. And they're not like, some of them are for fishing, you can see that, but most of them are for like pleasure. There's a guy in a kayak there who's just come out. Beautiful, beautiful. There's a big crow flying over. I think that's a carrion crow. Actually, no. Yes, it is a crow. I always used to get those mixed up. You've got different types of crow, and then you have a rook, and then you have a raven, and then you have the really smallest one, the jackdaw. I mean, it gets very complicated. Let's get up on this wall so you can get a better view. There you go. Right, so there's a kids' playground there, which I'm not interested in. And no, I'm not going to go and play on the swings. Not, you know, join the army and do an assault course. Stunning here, so warm. Now, it looks like my gimbal's off, but it isn't. That's weird. It almost looks like it's going up, which is strange. I wonder why it's doing that. Too heavy. Might need to recalibrate it. Hello, if you've just joined me, I noticed there's more people. I am in Alnmouth, which is right on the coast of the North Sea. You can't see the North Sea yet, it's just over there. And I will cover that as I work my way around. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come, we've seen a bit of the coast, so I'm going to come inland a little bit more and skirt these houses so you can see the lovely houses that overlook this estuary. because I think that's important, and people tend to like that more. I mean, looking at that's nice, but your eyes soon go, yeah, okay, I've seen that, now what? It's sometimes nice to look at the local architecture, and I am on, if you're wondering why I'm look like I'm up so high, I'm up on top of a wall here. See? I tell you something, they never had that when I was a kid. Look at that. Look at that. We had to put a rope into a tree, and then it used to snap, and I'm surprised we didn't all die of spinal injuries. And you've got the chain runner there. Right, I'm going to get off this wall because it's getting even higher, so bear with me. Ah, there you go, back on the cinder path, as you can hear. More hogweed. And you see the little bumblebee? Oh, he's flown off. There's a little bumblebee, which is the will sting if they have to, but they tend not to. Honeybees and bumblebees are quite nice. Look at that old wooden structure. And there's one of the thistle family, you can tell because of that purple there. Very spiky though. And I can smell, now what is that? That could be the dog, yeah. Wow. So dog rose there, but very, very strong. Look, that fly's loving it. This is confusing. You've got the rose here, which you can see because of these, see these spikes? Look at that. Lethal. Absolutely lethal. And they curve back on themselves, they're barbed. So that's the actual rose there, but this thing behind it, that's actually a young creeping plant. So that is an ivy. They can actually strangle out things like the dog rose. And then you've got the dandelion there, or dandelion if you're French, or teeth of the lion, I think was the origin of that name. Now that's some sort of currant, you see that? Three main lobes and they're kind of rounded, and you get this sort of texture. I'm not sure whether that's black, but let's have a look. There's one. It's way too early in the year, but you see that there? That is a currant. So it could be red currant, it could be black currant, don't know. Until they come out, I don't know. So it is a member of the currant family. Right, let's pop down this little path here. Hi, if you've just joined me, I've noticed that we've shot up again in numbers. So we are in, and I can hear, you hear that? That's either a song thrush or a blackbird I can hear in the background. So we'll pop down here, past that Jaguar. That's quite a nice car, isn't it? Let's let this little car past. Would anyone put up with driving that Jaguar? Would you be able to, and it says it's supercharged, would you be able to make do? That's the question. So really nice architecture here. There's a Swift on the telephone line there, cleaning its wings. So they're kind of like a small version of a swallow. Very, very nimble and acrobatic birds. You hear that little cheeping in the background? That's house sparrows. So there'll be male and female house sparrows. And then that garden's beautiful. They've got a load of, that is lavender. Like the traditional English lavender rather than the French. The French lavender looks differently. Stunning. And you can see here, you see this is foxglove. Digitalis, I think, is the proper denomination. Beautiful, but they are poisonous, so you need to be careful. If you go back in history, I'm pretty sure they actually used foxglove as a diet aid, but obviously it is poisonous, so long term you're going to kill yourself. But they used a lot of poisonous things like that. You used to get eye drops which had mercury in and all sorts of stuff, arsenic, you name it. And more dog roses here, two different types. Interestingly, that's similar to the type we were looking at before. But then look, so check that. So that's the member of the rose family. See how it looks? And you've got those leaves, but look at this one, totally different leaf structure. It looks like a rose, but I'm not so sure. And there's a house sparrow, you're saying, wee, he's just flown off there. But look at the spikes on that, my goodness, lethal. Look how sharp they are. I wouldn't like to get stuck on that. I'll just let this car past. There's a car right up me jacksie, as they say. So these have a beautiful view. They're building new houses, actually. So there's the new ones that they're building. And the old ones are at the back. And this is residents only, no parking, Lions Mead. Lovely view they've got though, with the sparkles on the water there. Stunning. stunning. Then you have what looks like a cherry tree. You see this here? So you'll get different types of cherry trees. So you can have, there's a sweet and there's a sour. So if you get the wrong one, it's certainly not worth eating. I wouldn't eat one of the sour ones. But what I tend to do is, as I'm walking, I'll pick one up and test them. And if I can find the sweet ones, I remember where they are. Now look at this tree here, very interesting. That's called a monkey puzzleless tree. Look, it's almost got leaves like a succulent, but it acts like a cactus. They are very sharp, extremely sharp on the end. But what a strange looking structure. I mean, to people abroad, if you live in Arizona or a hot country, that it doesn't look strange. But in the climate that we live in, it's certainly different. Beautiful though. And then more currants. If you remember, I pointed out the currant leaves. So again, there could be red currants or black currants, I don't know. But we've got all sorts here. Sorry if I'm missing a live chat, I'm rabbiting on about plants here. And there is the standard nettle, also known as the stinging nettle in this country. So I can't actually touch that without getting in pain. It grows everywhere, highly nutritious though. You can actually use heat, flame, or you can boil it to get rid of those. They're almost like tiny little hypodermic needles and they inject an acid into you. So if I was to just do that now, I would be in pain. But a prolific grower. And there's a huge ribwort. Look at the size of that. Massive. And another type of flat leaf plantain. Sometimes people call them dock, but it's not the same type. Stunning. And that's an interesting building. Let's have a little look here. We'll back off a little bit. Okay, so look at that one. And you hear those cheap noises? They are house sparrows. You would think that was like an old hotel, wouldn't you? You have the lovely sun veranda there looking over the bay. And then there is the bay, well, the estuary, that's the proper name. Stunning. And then over here you've got the boat club. It's members only, you can't just go wandering around, and I think there's a car trying to come out. Yeah, so I'll cross over a bit. And then you have the newer houses, although that's been a reconditioned house. You can see that. Massively rebuilt though, there's not a lot left of the original, other than those two posts. You can see the weathering, whereas that's lacks any weathering. And yet the building next to it, a lot of weathering, and then the newer, not enough. I can put mock weathering in, but it doesn't really work. And there's all the little boats with their covers on. I wish I could put this into widescreen and take in more of the view. It's not always straightforward. So they go quite high. How's that for a sun trap look? Isn't that beautiful? So if that was your house, you could sit there and overlook that bay. Beautiful. Right, so we're a lot closer to the hill I mentioned earlier in the video, which is Churchill. And it's like a small hill with St. Cuthbert's cross on. I mean, there's various stories about what that is and why it's there. I'm not so sure. I mean, for a start, the cross on there is wooden. So would a wooden cross really last 1,500 years? Well, no, it wouldn't, would it? But then you can use the excuse, well, it's been replaced. But what they try to say is look, before he became the bishop, he met there with the king. Well, maybe he did, but sometimes these things are lost in the hands of time, aren't they? And look, it's already turning into sand here. Well, let's have a little look up here. There's a tiny little, believe it or not, that is actually a museum. I'm not going to go in and annoy them, but that's actually a museum. Right, we can get a good view of the hill here. Yeah, so there it is. You can get to it over across there, or you can come round and you can walk up there. So we call that St. Cuthbert's Cross, and that's the association is with St. Cuthbert anyway. This is beautiful down here, proper sand here. Let's have a little look. Someone's been walking on there, you see the footprints? Someone is off barefooted. There's a lovely sea breeze coming in. You still can't see the North Sea, which is over that way. So as we come round the headland here, you will begin to see it. And there's the Ferry Hut. So that, like I say, that is technically a museum now, but it's very, very small. The reason for the name, the Ferry Hut, is because if you imagine that hut there, you know the bridge that was looked at the start, if you imagine that wasn't in use, the ferry used to come across here, and that's what that is what that was used for, so the ferryman's hut. And it used to take passengers across. That's no longer the case now. But that's one of the reasons for that name. Right, let's wander along. We'll have a little amble along. And there is a place down the coast called Amble. I'll take the high ground here so we'll get a better view. Thank you for the thumbs up there. I never ask for likes or thumbs up, but people who do that, thank you very much. Always say thank you, thank you. Wow, that now, uncustomarily, that water is quite crystal clear. Normally the North Sea is like brown, it's turgid, uninviting looking. But that's beautiful today. There's someone on a kayak over there and someone on one of those paddle boards. I know very little about paddle boards, but they're supposed to be quite good fun. Okay, we'll come along here a bit more. And there's some of the architecture there. So a mix of the old and the new there. I've got some lovely roses in that garden. And then there's honeysuckle coming over the top of there. That's actually beech, I think. Although it just looks like a standard hedge, it's actually a beech tree. Now there's people sunbathing over here, so I'm not going to point the camera in their direction because I want to respect their privacy. So if the camera dips, that's why. I'm not being awkward. Just for scale though, you see the people on the left there, look. Tiny. Okay, we'll leave these sunbathers alone. And now I need to somehow do a Fosbury flop over here without my trousers falling down. Done it. Right. So more beautiful gardens over the back there, and you can hear the little house sparrows there. Danger estuary, no bathing. I wonder why that is, because there is people swimming in there. What I'll do is I'll cross the road so you can have a look at these gardens, because I sometimes find them fascinating in the architecture. That's a beautiful one with a crow in the garden. Beautiful thick English roses. More honeysuckle. Pansies down there, beautiful. And then there's a type of hosta. That's actually a holly, although it doesn't look like it, it is a holly. And you have a red star there, so beautiful. That's a member of the alum family, and that's actually you. That's actually you, so then it's a shame they're not out yet, but those are poppies, so they'll spring forth. If you remember the poppies that you used to see in the Flanders fields and things like that. And then look at this is a fuchsia. Actually a non-native, believe it or not, but you see them all over the country. Stunningly beautiful. Look at that flower. Look at that. Almost looks like, you know, someone designed that. Stunning. You can get white fuchsias and all of the different types. There's another type of holly there with the sharp leaves on it. Now look at those thick roses. I can actually smell some of these roses. They're very, very pungent. Ooh, yeah, very strong. I think there's a geranium there, and that's actually all lavender through there. Electrobuzz saying he uses it for longbows. Yeah, it was used for longbows, and the reason they did that was because you can have a hard side and a soft side. Similar to how you would mix material hardness with a sword. Look at that. Stunning white foxglove there. Highly poisonous, but the bees love them. So as you can see, summer has arrived in Northumberland. And they're beautiful. I think that's a member. Is that a member of the lily family? I'm pretty sure it is. Very strong smells, yeah. We'll cross the road so you can get a good look at the coastline here. So there is the hill in the middle. And then as you come along, you will end up seeing the North Sea there. So that blue thing in the background, that's the North Sea. It's looking rather beautiful today, actually. Look at that. Stunning. No post-processing going on here. That is actually what it looks like. Boiling. I'm actually technically on part of the England coast path, well, the north section. So if you were in the area and you thought, I would like to take this in the local area, if you look that up, Alan's saying, my niece and nephew like paddleboarding. Is it hard, Alan? The reason I ask is because I used to be a skateboarder. I was pretty good. And I realise that has no bearing on bouncing on water, it's completely different. But does it take us long to learn? And this is a riverside road. So if we were in Australia, we'd go for a lovely barbie, but we're not, it's normally too cold. And then there's more beautiful, beautiful roses. Look at those. Can't smell those as much. And then you have, that's a type of thistle. Beautiful. I mean, they're not out yet, but they will come out at some point. And then here we have the, this is lavender, so English lavender. So straight off, even at this early stage, extremely strong, beautiful. Really, really nice. So we'll have a look at this because this looks like a seating area, but I'm not aware of what it relates to. Let's have a look. Ah, okay, so here's a little bit of local knowledge. So it says here, as I jauntily put my foot up, Dr. Joy's garden. This is a memorial viewing area, so related to Dr. Joy. Dr. Joy? Sounds like he makes sex toys, doesn't he? And there's one of the local birds, that is a puffin. Experts at catching the little fry and sprats. And then you've got Coquet Island, which is a distinctive lighthouse and breeding area for seabirds. Now you may or may not see it. I can see it. So it's about there. You probably won't be able to see it. Now look, there's loads of people swimming out there, but remember that sign saying, don't swim, emergency, danger, danger. Well, no one seems to care. There's loads of people swimming there. It's like Baywatch, just with a different accent. So this is quite nice. This is Dr. Sexjoy, or whatever he's called, his garden. Right, we'll come out of here because there's a big Land Rover Defender going past and it's super loud. And then you've got more lavender there, beautiful. The bees love that, they love it. Hopefully the signal is holding. So far I've had no reconnects, which is a good sign. And if you remember earlier, I was mentioning the poppies. There is an example of a poppy. So look at the size of that. I'll show you my hand next to it. So there's my hand, look. Huge, 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 huge flowers. Beautiful. And then you see the seed head here? So when they make heroin, I mean, it's not the same sort of poppy, it's a white poppy, completely different. But if this was a white poppy and the right type, they can make use of the sap and things like that. But I'm not going to tell you how they do that, for obvious reasons. Look at that. Stunning. So we'll come down here and have a look at the coast. And then what I wanted to do was to get a nice view down over, you can actually move up the hill a little bit, hopefully. So we'll come down a bit. All right, let me cross the road. I can hear more of the house sparrows there, chirping away. And there's someone with plenty of money who's wasted it on a Tesla. I can't believe there's 2 EV charging points here. I can't believe it. Now that there, it looks, you know, conditioned because it is. That's actually part of the golf course, but we'll walk around and you can have a look. So there's a job for you if you really wanted. If you were really into cutting grass, you could get a job at that golf course. Right, I'll come in here because there's a load of traffic. I'll let the traffic past. Right, we're good to go. I'm not going to get knocked over. Sorry, I've been babbling on there. So, Alan, if you answered about the paddle boards, so did they call them paddle boards then? Or has it got a proper name? So we're going past Pease Lane, if you were looking on the maps. Not a lot of flowers on this area, which is unfortunate. And then look, danger, flying balls. There's nothing worse than flying balls, believe me. Something to think about there. Okay, right, we're on the path eventually. I mean, over there's the golf course, which I'm not going to go on. I'm going to go up this hill, so you can actually make your way up this hill. I just want to see if there's a nice view, and then I'll try and work my way back either that way, or I'll come down on the beach and work my way along, and then I'll show you some of the stuff. So Electrobuzz, the worst kind of balls. It is, Electro, you're completely right. Really, for, you know, you always want them to stay put. I hope that gets past the YouTube censors because they seem to be blocking everything these days. It's getting ludicrous. Now, can you hear that noise? Listen. Do you know what that is? It sounds like an asthmatic horse, but it isn't. It's actually a pigeon. It makes some funny noises. So Electrobuzz is asking, is this an incredibly expensive area to live? No, however, it would be a moderately expensive area due to the fact you've got probably, you're just about reaching 500 local residents, according to censuses and guesses. And obviously beachfront is going to be a little bit more expensive, so it's definitely going to be more expensive than other places. But you pay to stay away from the rabble. But it wouldn't be massively expensive, but it would be moderately expensive, yes, in here. Especially in comparison to a lot of other places. Look, to be fair, I mean, look, right on the front here, beautiful views, and these are flats or apartments or whatever you want to call them. So you don't have to get a humongous house. You can get a sensible apartment. More beautiful flowers over there. Stunning. That looks like an original building, that. The windows have been replaced at some point though. Okay, we'll pop up this hill and try and get up the main hill and see what the view we can get. Look at those beautiful red roses. You've got like an ivy going around there. And then those beautiful red roses. Sorry, I missed that last comment. If you just send like the letter A or a full stop or something like that, it'll force it to redisplay it. That's Marie House Cottage. I wish the messages stayed on screen longer. That's something YouTube need to fix. Because I'm trying to look where I'm going, point the camera in the right direction, talk, think about where I'm going, and then you try and read one of them and it's boom, it's gone. There's a little up there which takes you back to the main area there, but I'm not going to go that way, not at the minute anyway. So like the buzzer saying, here in the US this would only be for the rich. Okay. No, well, okay, so here I wouldn't say you would have to be a millionaire or anything like that. I've got a thing from Alan Piggins saying, message redacted. I don't know if that's good or bad. It might have blocked a swear word or something. I turn off all these filters, you know. Hold sensitive things, hold this, hold that, stop that. I just turn them all off because I want people to have freedom of speech. There's a nice beech tree, look at that. It's very healthy, that one. You can eat the nuts off this. There won't be any this time of year though. More plants there, you've got normal nettles, stinging nettles. All sorts down there, buttercups. Yeah, but you wouldn't have to be filthy rich to live here, definitely not. But like I say, it would be moderately expensive and a lot more than if you were inland a bit more, something like that.
Lucky.
You can see the sea there in the distance. So that's a shame if in America you'd have to be mega rich to be here. You know, it's good, you've got to take the good with the bad though. There's many good points of being in America. You know, it is the land of the free. Well, they're trying to keep it that way, but people keep trying to spoil it, I know that. Right, there you go. If you remember earlier, I mentioned the English coastal path, the northern section. So you could technically walk up here north and continue to Boomer, where there is an RAF base, or Craster. Now, I've passed through Craster on, I think it's on my Northumberland playlist, when I went to Dunstanburgh Castle. If you want to see what that's like, that'll be on there, coastal path. So let's pop up here, and I'll try not to drown everything out with the sound of me huffing and puffing going up a hill. I just want to see if the view's nice. I'm hoping it is. Which way do I go? Left or right? In fact, I'll let you decide. Do I go left or right? I would suggest that that's more worn, so probably left's the right answer, but let's see what the comments say. Whoever puts the first comment, I'll do it. And it gives me a chance to catch my breath. The path less travelled, you're completely right. Path less travelled is this one. Thank you, Electrobuzz. And we're about to fall off the cliff. No, I'm just joking. Now the question is, why is this the path less travelled? Now this curves round. I hope this doesn't just join the other path and it's exactly the same result, because that's boring. So that tends to go up a bit. Okay, getting very steep now. More foxgloves, more cleavers, grasses, dock leaves, hawthorn, hogweed, blackberries. Well, the berries aren't out, but the brambles are. Okay, now we need to go right, because we want to go uphill. This looks nice. I'm getting blasted by flies. Blimey, this is steep. Are we there? Are we there yet? Nice butterfly there. Alan's saying it wasn't the full message. Was that the one that was redacted? Or are you on about the one from Electrobuzz saying path less travelled? God, it's so steep. But very nice, yeah. Cooler. That's someone's garden. I'll show you the path we've come up. Stunningly beautiful here. I was going to do this on Twitch, but when I looked at the fine print on Twitch, I opened an account and then I realised what to do. You do a live stream, most people are in bed who haven't got a chance to watch it. They want to watch it later on or at the end of the week. They delete your stuff after like 4 days or something. What's the point of that? It's like saying, right, we've got this new library, so you submit your book, people can read it for 3 days, then we'll throw it on a bonfire. Am I missing the point there? What's the point of that? Nice view here. Look at that. Listen to those crows going mad. An old farmstead in the distance there. Those crows are going bananas. Shut up. Oh yeah, beautiful views. Yeah, you can stay out of the sea. Look at that. It's almost like what you'd call a salt marsh down there. Twitch seems to be falling apart. Electro, I thought it was, here's my understanding. Look at that, you can see right down the coast there. You see that in the middle? My understanding was it was mainly used by gamers. Then YouTube couldn't come up with their own thing, so they bought it out, which is fine, okay. So they bought it out, and then people just seem to slag it off at the minute. It seems rubbish. And then they're deleting streams. Well, what's the point of doing the stream in the first place? Nothing of value is being retained. I wonder how high up this goes. There's a huge fly there. My goodness. Ah, it's flown away. That was actually a fly. It was the size of a bumblebee. Right, we look like we're getting to the highest point. Or close to it. As the climb seems to be lessening. Another stunning view. So if you sit here, when those ferns aren't so tall, well, the bracken, there's another lovely sea view. There's nobody about. So a very quiet area, this. As you get towards the sea, it becomes less so, but especially there, very quiet here. Nobody around. I mean, I'm walking around talking to myself in the street and only seen a few people. Nobody's batting an eyelid. And there's back towards the river of the River Allen, the mouth, sorry. You can't really see it, or can you? A little bit there. You've got the Coquet Island. You get a load of seabirds on there. You can't really, I can just see it. And unfortunately, this will be down in 720p. I wish they wouldn't do that. Right, I think we're near the top. Now look at that horse. I can see that horse there. There's a black horse on that hill. The redacted one, says Alan. I wonder what was said on the redacted one. Did anyone else get that redacted message? It just said in sort of greyed out text, redacted in brackets. So that horse in the middle there, that black horse, it has its head near what's called a trig point. Well, I suppose the full name would be a trigonometry point. They were used they were used for map makers. You know, basically to measure distances and get accurate maps and get the correct heights and distances between points. So a little bit of history there. That's a nice view. You can see back to where we've been. If I hold this up high enough, there you go. Look at that, stunning. So we walked all the way along there. Then you've got the golf course on the left there, and then the village on the right. We'll go back and through some of the village because we missed a lot of it, especially some of the interesting bits. Now this goes down and then up again, so hopefully this will be the end. Do you like that, Electro Buzz? So would you come and live here, Electro? If it wasn't stupidly priced, obviously. Because it shouldn't be, because generally rural places like this, you can sometimes pay less because there's less amenities, but if you don't need those amenities, then that's not an issue for you. You can come and escape and get away from all the hoi polloi and the plebeians. I mean, I'm extremely lucky where I live. North of England, Scotland borders area, extremely lucky. You know, within half an hour I can go to a 1500-year-old castle and just sit there and eat and drink and have a sunbathe. I know not everyone's got those options. But that doesn't mean where you live hasn't got beautiful areas, of course. If you were to sit and study Google Maps, you'd be surprised. Right now, so Electro's saying absolutely. So you would come here, right? Here's a question, left or right? So you've got, there's your right one, there's your left one. Sorry, I'm just swatting flies here. Let me put my sunglasses down. I'm kicking my ass, as this year. So should I go left? Get off. All right, stop biting me. I'm normally really good. I never get bitten. Left. Thank you, Electro. Boom, left it is. Right, we're going left. Bush. It says private property, you will be shot. Hang on, I might have to turn back. Let me just swap hands here. Because I've been holding this camera and gimbal for nearly an hour. I do work out, but I'm not that strong. A lot of flies here, hell of a lot. Generally, I find that around bracken and damp bits. We've had an extended dry period, but you're still going to get the flies, and then they'll go for your sweat. Now, what's this? Now, I know I've got to... Well, I'm heading towards the sea, basically, because I want to show people the sea, so we'll go this way. Now, can you see that? What that is, that structure on the right-hand side of the path, that's a beacon light. So before you had lighthouses, I'm not suggesting that's original, just, you know, for the historians who want to get annoyed. That's probably been put here, more recent. But, you know, that's not back to Viking times or anything, but that is a beacon light or beacon fire. So you'd fill that, and then you'd light that up. So I'll tell you, some perfect spot for it. There's actually what looks like old bunkers from World War II down there. You might not be able to see it down there, that white thing on the right hand side of the path. So if I can get to it, in fact you can see there has been a fire in there. Let's see what's down here. Now there's the golf course. Everyone's free to walk along the beach, you know, it's not like a private area or anything. Nobody owns that beach. Stunning. Let's see if I can get to this building. I might not be able to go in because the signal will probably cut out. Because the World War II bunkers were like poured concrete structures. And they were here for when the Germans turned up, should they attack the British Isles, because we were at war. Yeah, that looks like it just looks like that sort of building. Let's get a bit closer. Have you noticed I still haven't seen anyone up here? Hello, if you've just joined me here, I'm in Alnmouth on the Northumberland coast. Here's a little view for you. Beautiful, beautiful today, about 26, almost 27 degrees. I'm boiling. There's a beautiful view of the coast. Fantastic. You can't see Alnmouth, it's to the far right there of the viewfinder at the moment. We'll come back around and have a look, just for people who've missed it. And you can see the long sweeping dunes over there. Beautiful. So miles and miles of desolate beaches that you can enjoy. Not that I'm trying to get a job for the tourist, you know, the tourist board or anything. And then really I should start heading back because I've already been prattling on for an hour. I know some people like that, but some people don't. Let's put it that way. I do get quite a few comments from people. I had one where it was, what was the review? It might have been the Sofa S32 or whatever it was. And the comment just said something like, 50 minutes for a review of a flashlight. And when you put it like that, he's got a point. It is a long time just to talk about a flashlight. I'm starting to get that in the nature ones and out and about. Yeah, that looks, I don't know. It's certainly not concrete though. It looks brick and then it looks more modern. So that could have been something different. See it there? I'll hold the camera up. What on earth was that? Well, the windows look defensive. I think that, has that been repaired? I'm not sure. Let's get down there. Now I can go back to the right. See there? So I can go back down that way and then we'll go back along. But this here, yeah, I think that is a defensive structure. Or is it? Now it's so old. Now I didn't bring a damn flashlight to have a look in there. That's a shame. I run a flashlight channel. Fool. And I haven't even got one. So I don't know what that was for, but you see that window there, that certainly looks, where it's got those angles in that closed section, that looks very defensive for military. Let's have a wander around, although I wouldn't have expected it to be all this sandstone. That's older, unless they've put that on at a different time. You know, that might have been added on. Yeah, that's definitely, look, we've got the angles for firing out. Now, I don't know if I can get in here. Look at that. See how close I can get? Now, if I get close enough, it should change so you can see indoors. Right, hang on. There you go, boom. Right, I've got this at arm's length. Now that looks bricked and more modern to me, which I wouldn't normally see with a World War II defensive structure. I'm not saying it isn't, I'm just saying something's not quite right about this. It's been changed or modified. I'm not quite sure what they've done here. It's certainly overgrown, look. See the ivy. Now, if I can get on top of here, how am I going to do this? Bear in mind, I'm holding a gimbal. God, this is a nightmare. Right, made it. Right, we're now up on layer 2. Interesting, very interesting. See, all this looks like, I mean, that looks quarried. Then you got this, which looks like concrete. That's definitely concrete. You can see the lines where the planks would have been. And if I hold onto the wall and shimmy around here, this has been here a long time. I mean, look at the lichen. That doesn't grow overnight like that. And that's worn away. Now, just so you can see the height difference, I mean, that is coming up to the bottom of my chest. So if I go down on my knees, I'm on my knees, goes. There you go. The signal goes, I do apologise, but oh, sorry about that. I had to come out because I'd lost signal there completely. Yeah, no signal there. Sorry about that, Electro. It's annoying that. I don't know why I can't just like buffer it and then catch up later or something. There's got to be a way around that technology-wise. Sorry, I can't really get in and show you because as soon as I get in, it's extremely tight, very winding. It just feels like some sort of foxhole to me. Not that I'm an expert on military stuff, but that's just what it feels like. But there's something not right about it. That looks like World War II era, that doesn't, and it's very strange. Maybe it's been rebuilt. Right, look, I'm having to go on a roof here around this bit. Look, that's the gap I've got. Ow! I've just nearly cut my finger there. Right, now don't go that way because there's a hole. If I go this way, right, wish me luck, I'm going to jump here. Right, we've made it. In fact, am I going the right way? No, I'm not. Right, I need to go this way. Right, do you know what? I'm going to start heading back because we've done more than an hour of me prattling on and waffling away and going into strange structures, whatever that is. I could go I mean, look, it goes along much further, but it's just time because I need to make tracks. So I'm going to use this public footpath, so half a mile to Alnmouth. We'll walk down here and hopefully the signal will stay sensible. So I've had quite a nice jaunt today. I've had a nice little walk. And I've got, I'm trying to think what I've got lined up for the weekend. Channel wise, there is, let me have a think. Sunday, maybe I've got a little short up. Saturday, I think I've got the full review of the Acebeam H16. A couple other little posts midweek, and I'm waiting for 2 items from Nightcore. There is a brand new ultralight headlamp. It's not anything to do with the thing I was testing them for them, which I'm not allowed to talk about. This is a proper retail product. I'm not going to give the name out just in case it isn't supposed to be released yet, but it's a real ultralighty looking thing. So we'll see. Now they look like the old the old cubes that they used to put out to stop tanks. And that was World War II, so you'd litter them along the beach. There was various different shapes you would use. So maybe this was some sort of defence area, I don't know. It's certainly handy, isn't it? Yeah, so I'll get that. They're also sending me a lantern. So Alan, you might be interested in that. You like a bit of camping and things like that. Because I looked at was it the Sofan LT, whatever it was, some of the prices, I just thought, you know what, I'll not bother, I'll just use a flashlight. It's just a lantern. I know that you're going to get they're bigger and the less people buy them, but I just thought for Sofan, normally the prices are pretty low, but I just thought they were a little excessive. It's so hot here. This is a real heat trap where I am. I'm annoyed I couldn't keep the signal in there. Because I would have liked to have a look around that bunker thing, and then up there you can see that structure. Yeah, no signal. Thanks, Electrobuzz. Have you got any questions about the ace beam? Because like I say, I've done a thought. I'll say this before you ask any questions, if you've got any. It surprised me when I first got it. I thought, oh, am I going to like this? So Electrobuzz is saying he's carrying the Sofan SF15 this week. Nice, very nice. Good. You've got good taste. Oh, that's right, you bought the ace beam, didn't you? Yes, sorry mate, sorry. Did you feel the same as me? When I first got it, I thought, why is this not a TIR for a small beam, for a small light? Why? And then when I went out and used it, I thought, I don't really care. It's actually nice because the hotspot's quite wide and the whole hotspot itself is the same intensity. It was a real surprise to me. I was expecting to go in and go, haha, I don't like this, and start slagging it off. But I was completely wrong. So that will be reflected in the review. It's still processing on the YouTube server, so probably in the next 8 hours I'll finish, and it'll go live probably tomorrow morning or something like that. Because I'm uploading things that are like 30 gigabytes plus in size, my reviews. Because I tend to like them to do with a high quality. Yeah, the floodiness is very surprising. I actually tested it side by side with the H5 from Woburn. Now the H5 is like the D1. It has that super wide, like mega wide TIR setup, and it competed with that, even though it's not a TIR. So extremely impressed for a small light. 650 lumens on the high CRI version, and you can get the non-high CRI, which is I think 1000 lumens. Really impressed. If I remember, I could be wrong and you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's 6500 Kelvin is the tint on the 1000 lumen version, and it's 5000 on the high CRI version. Neutral white, they call it. It's it's nice. It's really nice. And the price is pretty decent, especially when you compare it to some of the silly prices now of lights that used to be cheap and they're no longer cheap. I think that's a bit naughty. Okay, we're nearly back. This is beautiful here, beautiful. There's virtually no wind. It's red hot. I can just hear birds song and that's it. And someone's engine ticking over. And there's the sea over there. I can go and have a look if you want, but I mean, oh, we've all seen the sea, put it that way. Ah, look, you know I was mentioning the bracken. There's that thing, look. It was a battery. Bracken Hill was previously known as Battery Hill, after the masonry built coastal battery. That's unusual to have it like masonry wise. Mid-Victoria, that's why, okay, I get it now. It wasn't World War II. That's why I was looking at that thinking, well, that looks World War II. That doesn't. It was mid-Victorian war scare, 1861. Very interesting. Modernised during the Second World War. There you go, I was right. See, TrailTrek does know a few things now and then. He's not totally stupid. But again, let's qualify this. I'm not an expert and I don't ever claim to be one. I don't want someone going, listen up, you scumbag. I am the professor of anthropology in London and you're a fool. because you get people who come and do that. There's more things here saying look out for flying balls, but there's something to think about. Right, we're nearly back to sunny Alnmouth. I can't believe that the signal has persisted other than when I went into a Victorian bunker on Battle Hill, or Bunker Hill or whatever, Battery Hill, sorry. And again, look, nobody about. How nice is that? There's a load of picnic benches over there, you see them? Beautiful. There's loads of them through there. Right, we've done around 1 hour 12 minutes. Though that if you're replaying this, it might be different because I think it cuts out the reconnects. So you're probably going to get a completely different answer on runtime. But I've been doing this for 1 hour 12, 13 minutes-ish. I'm just going to turn this because there's a family coming and I want to respect their privacy. But it's stunning here, absolutely stunning. Hello, 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 hello. And there's loads of, I love all these little seats so you can sit and have a nice view. I love that. So if you're wondering who I'm saying hello to, there's a little boy went past with his family there. Oh, right, we're back. So I'm going to scoot up to the right and show you a little bit of Alnmouth. It'll be more the architecture, but I really need to make a move, unfortunately. I can't spend all day doing this unless people want to make super chat payments or something like that. All I need is £1 million, that's it. I'm not greedy, just £1 million. So if you could just sort that out, that would be fantastic. I'm just joking, I'm just joking. Money doesn't always bring happiness. And don't ever forget, the old saying, health is wealth. You haven't got your health, well, hard life. So we came up, so there's the Gulf, and we came up here, Electrobuzz. Just having a good laugh there. Electrobuzz, have you got, I'm not going to spare $1 million. I don't mean like yen or something or the Nigerian dollar or whatever, where $1 million's like worth £3 or something. Look at the colour of those. More poppies there, but look how bright they are. They almost look fake. Beautiful. Whew. Right, we are now in the quaint Alnmouth area. Look at that. Nice house there. $1 million dinar, yes. I would do $1 million. I think if someone actually did do that, if someone said, like a rich sheikh or something, said, right, he has £5 million or something, I would probably send them a message back saying, are you sure about that? You don't want to spend that on your family first or something. Oh, there's some grounds, that's a lovely garden there. Nice and peaceful. I think that is actually someone's garden. But there seems to be a thing made out of hats there. I don't know what's going on there, unless they're selling them. And then that looks like a set of the back of some houses and apartments. It's fascinating looking at all this. And then here's some flowers that the locals have planted. So you've got a whole host of stuff there, petunias. I'm not so good with bedding plants, but the wild stuff I'm okay with. And there's the old original. There's the well. So you'd come here and get your water. So look, there's like your basin thing, and then you'd have the water would come out there. So you'd come here and get the gossip, and the water would come up there, the old well pump. Isn't that lovely how they've repurposed that with nice flowers? It's certainly wearing away though because of the sandstone. Right, so now do we go left or right? That is the question. That looks boring. So let's do a left. I'll try and now bear with me because I need to cross a road here. And we'll go past the sun in because it looks more interesting than the other route. Right, we're off. We are off. Try not to die here. Look left, words to live by. Right, we're now entering the Wind, as it's known. Look at that. Look at that little route down there. Look, that little sun trap. We're passing Searidge House. Now I'll cross over because there's people sitting outside of cafes and stuff. They don't want a camera stuffed in their face, you know, like a paparazzi. Nice. Now they look like lodges that you can stay in. You've got the Hope and Anchor there, which looks like a more traditional pub. Then you've got a set of houses down there. No parking. Then you've got the Sun Inn. And then there's the spire in the distance. If you remember, I told you that an American hit that with a cannonball. Well, he tried to. I don't think he did a lot of damage though. What was he called? John Paul something, or Paul John Smith, or forget the full story now. So there's the Sun Inn. Look at that. Look at that sort of hanging basket type arrangement. So that you put moss on the bottom, then all your plants. Beautiful. You've got a little street down there. And then look at this, beautiful. I love that on the old buildings where you have the ivy and it completely encroaches on the building. It gives that real oldie worldy look. Let's get a close look and look. And then you've got that lovely sort of sun trap alley of sandstone down to the sea, because the sea's just down there. Whee, beautiful. And what's going on here? Art and coffee. And then we're passing the Whiting House, or Whiteling, which is a type of fish, I think. Then the Red Lion. And then look at that. Tea Cosy Tea Room. Does anyone know what a tea cosy is? Well, that's poisonous, that one, if I remember right. That's laburnum. Look at that building there, beautiful. Electro, if you're popping off there, have a nice day, mate. I might have finished by the time you get back, but have fun at the store. Get something nice, you deserve it. So you take care, mate. Thank you very much. Right, and as you can see over there, is one of the original old-fashioned phone boxes. So you know, you see them in traditional English films where you have the red phone box. A lot of them now tend to contain defibrillators of all the things they could have put in. So you see that one there? It actually does still have a phone in. We'll go and have a look. I'll just let these people go past. So believe it or not, obviously, I mean, these days everyone's got like a mobile phone. It's not really a needed commodity, but let's see if we can get in. There is a phone in and a set of books. Right, let's have a look. There you go. So you can pop in this phone box. There's the phone there. Still working by the looks of it. So there you go. If you think, well, I'm bored, you can come and get a book. So you've got The Girl Who Played with Fire there, and then something about First fun with Spanish. There you go, and someone's put dream big. So that's lovely, that, I like that. That's well looked after. I think that's really, really nice. Because that's a piece of history that we don't really want to lose. It's too easy to smash things down and put everything modern, but that's not necessarily what people want. How's that for a view? Look at that. You've got the estuary and the bay over there, so they've got a wonderful view. I'm going to cross over because it looks like someone's given a guided tour. So if I pop over here. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far. I've tried to cover the basics. Again, I'm certainly no expert on the area, but I know a little bit of the history and things like that. And this is Chapel Lane. And then a secret gift shop. And Scots of Alnmouth. I wonder if that's related to the Scots in Edinburgh. There's one in Edinburgh. It's like a seafood restaurant. Probably not. I'm not sure on that. Okay, right, let's cross here. And unfortunately, that would be a nice shortcut for me to just pop down there, but I cannot. Right, it was around this corner. I'll take a right. Look at that annex on that house there. Almost looks Edwardian or Elizabethan. And then you've got that, which almost looks like part of a castle. I love the mix. You just tend not to get that with modern housing developments. You don't get that lovely mix where the eyes never get bored. Right, this is the Schooner Hotel. Schooner is used to be a type of boat. So there's the beautiful hotel in there. Looks like they do a nice curry. I quite like a curry now and then. Ah, well, there you go. There's an Indian restaurant. That's why. Again, lovely views there. What a relaxing place. Right, we're nearly at the coastal section, and then we'll head round to the right, and I'll probably end it, unless anyone's got any questions. I think I've covered everything in the area. This was only supposed to be half an hour, you know, and for whatever reason I've prattled on much longer than necessary. That's quite a nice car there. That is a Lotus, I think. I could be completely wrong. Let me just have a look. I am wrong. It is a Caterham Super 7. 16 valve, nice classic kit car there, beautiful. So I bet some love's gone into keeping that into one piece. Beautiful. So the Caterham or Caterham, whatever you want to call it. So we've seen down to the left, so we'll come down this way instead. And hopefully this isn't a dead end and it links together. I think it does, yeah. I've just seen two people who just joined there. Thank you for joining me. We are in Alnmouth in Northumberland. I've been prattling on for way over an hour. So if you really want to learn about the area, you might want to go back, or if you have any questions, just let me know, because I'm heading back to where I started now. But the estuary is in the background there. That's what that glittering glow is in the distance. So let's keep going here. And I think I might have to take a left, it depends. I'll have a look. Right, how do I get out of here? I can't go that way. Let's go this way. There's some real strong smells down here. Now, can you hear that blackbird in the distance there? We've got a beautiful song. I'll show you the architecture as we're going along here. I like the name of that. It's called Wits End. And sometimes people say when they've had enough, they say, I'm at my wits' end. So I wonder what the history of that name is. There's some old stained glass windows on there. And look at all the hats up there, you see them? It's like Hat Central. Okay, right, in this beach, listen to those. Just like 2 foot away from me, there's like little house sparrows cheeping away. Okay, we're nearly back to the start. That's what I missed before. Look at the size of those beautiful full roses there. I can actually smell them from here. Beautiful. And there's the fuchsia that I talked about, non-native, but they are well liked here. It's just the old bathhouse, so that's where you go if you want a bath. Right, so at this point I need to take a left up here, because there's the beach there. Well, they say beach, but basically what you can see of the estuary there, so that's beautiful, look. And that's the entrance for the River Allen Boat Club. It's private moorings, you can't just turn up in a dinghy and park up. Look at all those dog roses, beautiful. That, I don't think that is a dog rose, it looks too different. That could be something similar. Quite polleny smell on them though, but not as deep as you would normally get with a rose. A rose is quite a complex. Look at that, beautiful. So you've got the foxglove there, and then the honeysuckle coming up. And then there's the jag that we passed. The super turbo or whatever they call it. Right, if we pop through here, and then over here, we're nearly back. And what I'll do is, actually that's quite a dip there, I'll shut up so you can listen to the ambience on the way back. And then when we get to the bridge, I'll say my goodbyes, and if anyone has questions, I'll answer them. But thank you for joining me. This has been a wonderful stroll on the Northumberland coast. Absolutely beautiful area. Right, let's get over here. Okay, so we've probably got about another 5 minutes left, realistically, on the stream. So again, I'm not going to repeat myself on all the stuff I covered on the way. It was a sort of a circular route I took, just showing you some of the main areas of Alnmouth, because I think it's a really beautiful area. It's, you know, relatively unspoiled. It's definitely worth a visit, put it that way. If you're in the area or you were doing like a touring holiday, 100%, if it's a nice day, come here. There's no bother, there's no idiots spoiling it, there's no noise, just nice people. It's very, very relaxing. I'll show you the estuary here. I'll just swap hands because my right hand is dying at a rapid rate of knots. There you go, look at that. And I couldn't get across to the hill, you know, the St. Cuthbert's hill, because I would have had to swim over to do that. Right, nearly back, about 4 minutes. Although at this rate, it's taking so long, by the time I get back, Electrobuzz will be back. You had to pop to the store for something. So I've really enjoyed this. We've seen a multitude of plants. We saw samphire growing wild, which you can get in posh restaurants with your seafood. You know, I mean, we've seen all of that. We've seen the old battery, which was rebuilt World War II, but it actually has links back to Victorian times when there was a war scare on. Well, I wasn't even aware of that. It's a shame the signal cut out when I tried to get into that bunker, but I guess that's to be expected. Oh, Electrobuzz says he's still listening. Electro, I hope you're not driving whilst, or are you walking down the street listening to me prattle on? I'm very lucky, the viewers I get on my channel. They're all great people, they really are. Right, 2 minutes left and then we're at the bridge, which you will see is around this corner. There you go, there's the bridge. I'm surprised there's no cormorants here. There is a heron. Can you see him there in the middle? That's a grey heron. He's not moving because he's seen me. You see him there? But I think that might be a cormorant in the bay. So just behind him, up, or is it a duck? Just maybe a duck. See the heron there, hunting? Beautiful. Normally they're really skittish, the herons. But they've got a reason for that. They don't want humans around because we make a lot of noise and scare the fish away. They're trying to pretend to be a piece of foliage, you know. How's that for a house up there? Surrounded by foxgloves and what looked like Scots pine. What a view! As you can hear, we're back on the cinder path. You can hear that noise it makes. Okay, so we've got about 60 seconds left of the stream. Thank you everyone for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure walking around here. I'm glad to have seen all the things I've seen, and the comments from people make it all the more better. So I really appreciate it. Thank you, and let me have a look. So bear in mind, I really don't like asking for likes and subscribes. So very kindly, people have given me 6 likes. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that, because that was done without asking. So thank you. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and for those who want to know, yeah, the full review, mega long H16 Ace Beam review will be up tomorrow. Now can you smell this honeysuckle? Not very strong, that one. I've seen that. Oh, I can smell it now. Wow, super strong. Wow, beautiful. Yeah, so that review up tomorrow for people who want to put themselves through that. And I'll have a few little posts here and there, and like I say, Nightcore are due to send me a couple of items, and I've got a few tools here and there. 30 seconds left and then I'll say my goodbye. So any comments or questions, quickly, you've got 30 seconds, because after that I am out of here. Eat my dust, suckers. Okay, that is the end of the stream officially. Thanks for joining me. I'm absolutely sweating to death. There's another grey heron over there. Hang on. Can you see him there? Another grey heron. That's two there. So thanks for joining me. I'm off. I'll leave this for a few seconds just running to get the lovely view. But have a lovely weekend, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Goodbye.